is Andrea Ashman's daughter at this time with Remembrance, followed by the
spirit of a Casanova. I consider him to be fortunate as he amplified the saying of getting a wanty and wanty can't get it. Because I remember the cold December morning in 1998 in New York when I saw him for my citizenship. And it was just 2 days later that I filed for him to come to the States. And what would typically take maybe over a year to accomplish, he was there within 3 months. He came and he would find every excuse to leave. He didn't like the cold, he didn't like this, and he didn't like that. But I know he just wanted to come back to walk the streets of Brownstown. He also mentioned that, no man, I just need to go back and stay with the old lady. So when my grandmother passed, my mind, I was like, okay, I guess you know. Because there's no old lady for him to come stay with. So I said to him when I came to my grandmother's funeral, I said, Rob, I'm renewing your green card. I'm no longer in New York, I'm in Florida. It's not cold, so you can come. He said, no, no matter with that. We said, Rob, that might be some old junk here, man. No, that's the one we want. So I looked at my husband and I said, I want what? I want to give. In case we never give him what he wants. So he got the car, and I think to this day nobody learned to drive. His cousin Gracie and his aunt Mabel, he was able to go to the hospital on numerous visits and had that hand healed, which we were happy for. During my various visits here back to Brownstown, I could always find Rob. I'd have to go look for him at Annette's house, or I had to go and find him down by the bar where he had spent his time and days hanging out with his friends. He would take pride and joy in the early mornings when we visit, and my kids here that were younger, to take them out in the backyard, to take them out into the garden and show them all the different things. So on the 4th of May, while I was in the movie theater watching the Michael Jackson movie, and my phone was just constantly going off. It was a call from my Aunt Gracie in the Bronx. I looked at the phone and I said to my daughter, I think something is wrong with Rob, because this is the only reason why my phone could be going off like this. So I stepped out from the movie, and then I looked at the phone and I saw Kim was calling me, and I said, something definitely wrong with Rob. So I got the news that he had fell, and I just said, Kim, it's okay, because I'm on my way down on Friday anyway, because I was coming down to 2 funerals. I was able to get here, I was able to visit him, and I really have to say thanks to Barbara Daly, who's here today, because I don't know if he's on. And we were trying to get there to KPH. I really don't know Kingston that well, but Barbara was willing to take my husband and I to go with us. So I appreciated that. We went, we saw him. He knew I was there, because Kim keeps saying he's waiting for you, and you can wait though. You know, I'm firstborn, but he loved all his kids. He was proud of all of us. Because he always introduced me as, oh, this is my daughter, and I shouldn't want to go Westwood. And you say, Sean, I shouldn't want to go Elders. And you talk about Kim, everything that Kim does for him. So when we got there, he know, I said, Rob, I'm here. He said, yeah, man, I know, say I was coming. And we talked and everything. He asked about the kids. And I said, Rob, don't worry about the kids. It's all about you right now. Everybody's good. And then I said, Andrew is here as well, referring to my husband. And then he came in and they talked, and he had a little laugh with him. He said, you know, Andrew will call and everything. And we spent the entire visiting time with him. But before I leave, I said a prayer for him. And I said, Rob, you're here, laying down. You're not walking the streets of Brownstown, so make sure you talk with God. Make sure you ask him to put you through this. And make sure you make your way right with him. The second day that we were supposed to go back to visit with them, I got up and I was getting ready. And my cousin said to me, don't leave yet because they called him to come to the hospital by 7. And I said to myself, why are they calling Kim to come at 7? He's not scheduled for surgery or anything. And I looked at my husband here and I said, you know, Rob passed because that's not a good phone call. I said, I'm just sorry that Kim is on her way by herself because I'm here and we could have gone together. And sure enough, that was the result of them calling Kim after 12 that night. But I knew in my heart and in my spirit that's what it was. So, you know, I just pray that he did have the conversation that I asked him to have with his Lord, and hope that the prayer that I said would lead him that way. At the time, he was jovial. Like I said, he was joking around. He said he called already to my husband. He couldn't help that again. And it was just the situation that he was in. He had been well. So, you know, it's in the Lord's hand that a week and 2 days later that he passed from that fall that he had. But now we know that he's resting with the Lord. And that's the good thing. Thank you all.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Natalie Hemmings Noble, and boy, oh boy, where did we start? Andrea and I are joined in the hip since birth, ever since our enrollment at Miss Hilda's basic school around the corner. From basic school, it was to Brownstown Primary School, then to Westwood, then to Brownstown Community College. Then we went into different fields. Then we reconnected in New York. And each time we reconnected, it was like we had never had a moment apart. Our dearly beloved Rob was a staple in our lives. And even when I moved to Brooklyn in 2001, who would I have as a resident in my neighborhood exactly close to the daycare I used for my newborn son? No one but Rob. And he did